All-Filipino Conference quarterfinals. This is a PVL, the heart of volleyball.
Step aside, I own this night. 차가운 시선도 out of sight. Pulse in my vein, it's electric gold. 내 불빛은 never cold. Light it up, no turning back. 세상 내 무대 track. 숨길 수 없어 내 vibe, so really energy you gonna feel. I'm invincible, nothing can break me. Limitless flow, don't try to chase me. Crash like a wave, wild and free. 이 무대 위, I'm all you see. Invincible, na 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 na. Yeah, na 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 na. Invincible, na 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 na. Na 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 na. 늦지 않아.
We're live here at the Smart Araneta Coliseum in Quezon City, where Kath Arado and PLDT, well, they've been the team to beat this conference, and they're aiming to bring that dominance into the semi-finals. But standing in their way is Louis Romero and the rest of Farm Fresh, who have peaked at the right time, and they're hoping to build on that momentum. You're watching the qualifying round of your 2026 PVL All-Filipino Conference. Our lineup of games for today, our match at hand, it is a PLDT high-speed hitters taking on the Farm Fresh Foxies, and later on an epic matchup between the Creamline Cool Smashers and the Signal Super Spikers. Thank you for joining us on Pilipinas Live, One Sports and One Sports Plus. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Billy Capistrano, and joining me today, we have my partner Neil Flores and, of course, our courtside reporter, Miss Sam Corrales. And Sam, I'll start with you first. It's an all-important matchup for these two teams. A lot of excitement in the air, but how are the players doing coming into this match?
Well, back in the dugout, it seems like they're very chill, just doing their usual routines. But of course, we know once they step foot on the court and they hear that buzzer, things are gonna get spicy.
Chill for now, but again, we'll see later on. And now, Neil, a lot of things happening here in the PVL. It's been a very busy past couple of days, a lot of storylines unfolding, and the best part is it's not over yet.
That's correct. We are giving away 2 tickets straight to the semifinals, and ibibigay natin yun sa mga mananalo today. We have a double header ahead of us, but before that, we'll show you a quick picture of the final results of the preliminary round. PLDT, Signal, Creamline, and Farm Fresh earned their top 4 placements. That's why they are here in the qualifying round. As I said a while ago, the winners will get the first 2 seats in the semifinals. That is going to be our doubleheader today, PLDT versus Farm Fresh, Signal versus Creamline. And just by looking at the results of yesterday's play-ins, na-reinforce lang yung idea that there are no sure wins at this point in the competition.
Absolutely crucial, high-stakes game for both our teams. It's their first real step towards the semi-finals. And at this point, Neil, let's keep it simple. Everybody just wants to make it easier for themselves.
Well, PLDT has been rock solid. Savi Davidson has been a force this conference throughout the preliminary round. She has remained to be their best attacker. Mamamagnify yung passing niya because she had a so-so passing performance in their last game. They're coming off a loss, so they are very excited to bounce back today.
Supersonic savvy and supersonic speed. She has been one of the top players, if not the top player here for the PLDT high-speed hitters.
Number 3 scorer, number 6 in attacking. So she has it all. Yun na lang talaga, if she passes today na on point, they will have a big chance of winning against Farm Fresh.
And we talked about this in that previous game, where the key improvement here for the PLDT high-speed hitters is the fact that they're playing so cohesively as one cohesive unit on the court. And we got Kath to thank for that, Kim Fajardo. But of course, you can't deny the fact that Savi has been so consistent for them, averaging 20.9 points per game.
Well, that's amazing, Billy and Neil. Of course, she's been putting on the work all conference long. And you know what? You guys have the chance to make Savi Davidson an all-star. The voting is now live for the PVL game happening in Candon City on May 1. Cast your votes at pvl.ph/all-star. Again, that's for the Volleyball All-Star Showcase happening in Candon City. And earlier, you guys were talking about it. PLDT plays better when everyone gets involved in the system, when everybody does their role. And speaking about roles and connections with their setters, you know, we say this all the time. Well, how about the connection with the liberos? Well, Majoy Baron, this girl right here, says this is important also because if she fails to block and do her role, Kath Arado is there to cover. For Kath Arado, we know that she's a leader on the court, super vocal, and really telling Majoy where to go, especially today kasi ang kalaban nila ay nasa opposite spiker on the other side of the net.
And there has been so much trust and teamwork in this team, and that's why it has translated fully in how they're playing on the court. All right, we move on to the other side of the court this time. We talk about the Farm Fresh Foxies and none other than Trisha Tubu. She has been incredible for the Foxies this conference, Neil.
Well, she is number 1 in attacking in the league, and that's going to be an interesting matchup because she will be going up against the number 1 blocking team in PLDT. Majoy Baron, Mika Reyes, you name it. The middles will definitely be guarding Trisha Tubu all throughout this match. So for Trisha, she has to be creative, she has to be crafty, and really play with angles if she wants to win this game.
And sky is the limit for Trisha Tubu. She's got that X on her back, the target on her back, but I'm sure she's going to show her full potential in this match today, Sam.
Yeah, there's no doubt that she's definitely one of the best young players in the league right now. Talking about Trisha Tubu, and I want to know, we want to know if she is part of your dream team. So go ahead and vote for Trisha on the pvl.ph/all-star website for the Volleyball All-Star Showcase happening in Candon City on May 1. We were talking about Trisha being the best young player. Well, how about the best veteran in Royce Tubino? We all know her all these years in volleyball, you know, and she told me earlier in the dugout, it's about time for her to get that championship title in the PVL naman. And sabi sa akin ni Royce, baka today may be their best chance for her team to make it closer to that goal. Sabi niya sa akin, this game is not just any game. It's very important. It could be a stepping stone. It could be a morale booster. So sabi niya sa teammates niya, hindi na tayo underdogs. We gotta play like a champion.
All right, and of course, we have your Filipinas Live question, which we all want to know. What is it, Sam?
Yes, so we talked about these two stars earlier. We're talking about Savi Davidson and Trisha Tubu. Our Filipinas Live poll question of the day is who will be our semi-finalists? We want to hear from you. Which top scorer will lift her team to the next stage? Do not forget to use the hashtag #PVL2026 because it looks like we are all set for this exciting matchup.
You are absolutely right, Sam. The stage is all set for our qualifying round. So when we come back, it is PLDT versus Farm Fresh. But before that, we leave you with Savi Davidson in this feature we call Rank It.
Hi, this is Savi Davidson, and this is Rank It. Was this my first game? No. First game?
Gets it.
Oh, it was my first game. I think I had 19 points this game,
Rhea opens up.
but I also had 12 errors. I think this moment means a lot because it's the beginning of something that has transpired into what I love to do. This was last year.
Good receipt.
3-4. Davison.
Wow, that was good. Triple block down the line. That was a good one. It means a lot because it led to something that we'll cherish forever. Obviously a championship, and it was a really hard game. Cherry, you know, put up a really good fight. And I just felt like I had to kind of take control. This was my career high.
11 match points. Hindi. Sabi.
It's actually funny because on that last point, my calf gave out. So I wasn't really thinking about how many points I was scoring. And then they told me after, and I said, that's funny. But this meant a lot to me because I feel like, you know, after all these years, I'm still waiting for that 40 mark, but this is pretty close. Oh my gosh, this is when we beat Creamline the first time?
13-all. Davison, yes!
This kind of showed that we were able to compete. It gave us a really good confidence boost that really carried us throughout that season. I don't know, all these moments mean a lot to me. After watching them back, it's so weird to see how different I used to play, but...
Gets it.
3-4. Davison. 13-all. Davison, yes!
I would rank my first game as my number 4 because I was really high error and I was still learning. I would say the win against Creamline had to be my number 2, and then my career high has to be my 3rd. I think the Creamline match beats my career high just because, I mean, the 36 points was good, but I'd rather enjoy it with my team. I would say the Cherry game that went to 5 has to be my number 1. That really showed us coming together as a team, and I really liked how, you know, we came out that game and really took the win. Watching these back, I can't wait to make so much more memories this year, 2026, so I can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside the Smart Araneta Coliseum in Quezon City. This is match number 48 of the 2026 All-Filipino Conference for the Premier Volleyball League. This is the qualifying round match where the winner will advance to the semifinals. Our participants, the number 1 seed PLDT High Speed Hitters. And their opponents, the 4th seed Farm Fresh Foxies. Introducing the 2 national referees officiating this match. Our first referee, Erlindo Eusebio. Second referee, Jumper Educado. Let's now meet the starters. First, for the PLDT High Speed Hitters. Middle blocker number 3, Mika Reyes. Outside spiker number 5, Alea Malaluan. Another outside hitter number 6, Savi Davidson. Setter number 9, Kim Fajardo. Middle blocker number 10, Machoy Baron. And opposite hitter number 11, Kim Kianati. Starting libero team captain number 8, Kat Arado. The head coach for PLDT is Rel Ricaport. And now the starters for the Farm Fresh Foxies. Setter number 1, Alohi Robbins Hardy. Middle blocker number 5, Des Clemente de Guzman. Outside spiker number 7, Ces Molina. Opposite hitter number 12, Trisha Tubu. Middle blocker number 18, Riri Meneses. And outside spiker number 21, Royce Topino. Starting libero is number 4, Pia General. The head coach for Farm Fresh is Koji Tsuzurabara. This match is held under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusements Board. It is PLDT versus Farfresh. This is the PVL, the heart of volleyball.
The starters on your screens for the PLDT high-speed hitters. The #1 team out of our preliminary round. We have Reyes, Baron, D, Fajardo, Malaluan, Davison, and their team captain, Libero Kath Arado. And on the other side of the court, let's take a look at the starters this time for the Farm Fresh Foxies. We have Meneses, De Guzman, Tubu, Robbins Hardy, Molina, Tobino, and Villa General. Billy Capistrano with Neil Flores and Sam Corrales manning the sidelines for us today in this all-important matchup. It is a qualifying round of your 2026 PVL All-Filipino Conference. The last time, Neil, that these two teams met each other was back in March 5, where PLDT won that 5-set game. A hard-fought win for this team. We'll see how things will pan out today as Mika Reyes gets the first point for the high-speed hitters.
We mentioned that PLDT is the number one blocking team, but they're also number 2 in attacking, if I'm not mistaken.
That is exactly why they are the team to beat here in our All-Filipino Conference.
Let me correct myself. PLDT is number 4 in attacking. It's Farm Fresh that
That's
is number 2. So that's an interesting matchup. Talagang offense and defense. Both teams were up there in the preliminary round in terms of numbers.
And we all know that Farm Fresh, they had that late run in the preliminary round where they won 3 straight games to propel them here in our qualifying round. Here comes Davison. Meneses will go to Tubu. D, soft touch. That is good for Kiara D. Gets her first point of the match.
PLDT really needs to bring back their balanced production because in their last game, the other attackers were limited. It was mostly Savi Davidson doing damage.
And we all know they play their best when there's much help for Savi on the court. She's able to really focus on other aspects of her game. We got another point here from Trisha Tubu.
She's the reigning best attacker after the preliminary round. And just by looking at the starting lineup of Coach Koji, he really wants to utilize height up front. So they will be focusing on their respective roles. The middle blockers will focus on getting good touches against Savi Davison, the rest of the high-speed hitters. And the outside hitters and Trisha Tubu will focus on scoring.
It's going to be interesting also against a very tall PLDT team. Here comes Tobino. And you know, Royce Tobino really has been that X factor, I would say, for Farfresh, especially in their past games. Scoring in double digits to help their campaign. Sorry.
Years and years of experience for Royce Tobino. She's been in different situations, big games at that.
And Sam said at the top of the coverage, this is a perfect time for them to come up big here in our All-Filipino Conference. Alohi goes to Des, popped up. Baron. Davison with a push. Tobino, scrappy plays, good cover. That's going to be a point for Alohi Robbins Hardy. 4 points now for Farm Fresh. Good start.
Robbins Hardy being very aggressive at the start of this first set. Pushing that ball all the way to the end zone para mawala sa position si Kath Arado.
2-point push now for the Foxies. Kath goes to Baron. Tobino waiting for it. She is denied by Majoy Baron.
Total rejection there for Majoy Baron and Kim Fajardo. This is also going to be their biggest advantage also against Farm Fresh. They're very organized and very systematic when it comes to their net defense.
Baron had 5 blocks versus Farm Fresh in their previous meeting. Let's see how many she puts up today. But what about that cross from Royce Tobino?
Marami ang tricks up her sleeve. She can also play with a lot of crazy angles.
And I think this is one of the most consistent she's been for her team. Spelled all the difference when she started to get more playing time from Coach Koji. Sabino averaging 12.2 points per game for the Foxies. Good defense from Bertolano. Tubu sends it over. They go to Malaluan. Just at the net. Farm Fresh has it. Calf goes to Savi. Flying from the back row.
First point for Savi Davidson. We'll see a lot of back row hits from Savi today.
The spike of the set is brought to you by Dunkin. Pasalubong ng Bayan. Baron to serve. Alohi. Read well by Aliyah.
The angle was right for De Guzman and the ball was about to sail out pero bumalik lang sa kanya, tumama. Where it went out
The
of
way
bounds
down.
sa ulo niya.
Ang tagal kasi ni Des. Kaya yun yung nangyari.
She's tall.
That's true. 5-all. Kaf tries to save it. Malaluan with a power. And she has been such a great addition to this PLDT team. Neil, she has fit the system of Coach Ralph perfectly.
She provides a different kind of stability also in the back row. Yeah, she can score up front but yung passing and defense niya sa likuran really helped PLDT also in the preliminary round.
That's a bit too short for Trisha Tubu, miscalculating the attack. PLDT now up by 2 points. Baron serving. Alohi goes to Royce again, not this time. That's going to be on Mika Reyes. Ball is outside.
That was a solid dig from Majoy Baron. Saktong-sakto kay Kim Pardo sa setter's zone. So for middle blockers, you have to be aware kung nasaan yung setter. You have to give them the opportunity to set up a play unless they ask for help.
1-point lead, PLDT. Calf goes to Mika. No cover, she is blocked. All tied up at 7.
Kaya maganda yung matchup natin today because Farm Fresh is also a good blocking team.
The second best blocking team right behind PLDT. Kim goes to Aliyah. That's way off for Malaluan. Farm Fresh takes the lead 8-7.
First technical timeout, 8 for Farm Fresh, 7 for PLDT.
Welcome back. You're still watching the PVL All-Filipino Conference qualifying round. Now, in my conversation with rising star Trisha Tubu, she said that the PLDT high-speed hitters is her kryptonite. Naalala niya yung last matchup nila this conference, saying that it went into 5 sets. They almost had a chance to win, but ultimately nagkulang sila sa dulo. And so today, Trisha considers this the most important game in her career so far. Speaking about redemption, sabi niya, with every loss they encountered so far, she said that she learned something that she can add to her arsenal. And today, she's been waiting for this moment to finally show PLDT and Coach Rao that she's got more skills up her sleeves. And Coach Koji actually asked Trisha a question in their last matchup against PLDT. Who is your opponent? Her answer was clear. Farm Fresh Foxies. Back to you, Billy and Neil.
Thanks for that, Sam. We're all excited to see what Trisha Tubu has in store for everybody today. A great matchup between her and Savi Davidson. In their last meeting, Savi had 32, Trisha had 16. So I'm sure she wants to increase that production here today. Another point for Farm Fresh.
That's a 3-point lead for the Foxies. Robbins Hardy has been so aggressive here in the first set. Already have like 2 points. Timeout PLDT.
gusto mo yung pagkita ko pa? Okay na yun?
Pag naka-insist, mas madali mag-options ha. Huwag nyo kalimutan. Pasa mo na kayo. Go, 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 go.
He's just so chill as a coach, si Coach Reldrick Caport. Sabi niya, pumasa muna kayo because when they're in system, that's a time they can roll out different combinations pagdating sa offense. Right now, they're in their two-hitter rotation but they still have a pipe attack para kay Savi Davidson. But if they won't be able to pass that ball, Farm Fresh will have a higher chance in getting more rebounds.
And they are trying to play catch-up here, down by 3 versus the Foxies. Caf gives this one to Aliyah. She's blocked. Kiana was there. Arado asking for space. Gives it back to Aliyah. Goes cross. Nothing. Alohi finds Ses. Take a look at Savi putting it away. That is point number 2 for Davison.
2 points coming off that back row. Savi Davidson being so deadly. Habang di pa siya nasa harapan. So imagine the damage that she can deal when she's up front.
Definitely a threat to any team. The bump to Ses. Easy pickings for Arado. Back set to KKD. Right on target for Kiana.
This is also another strength of PLDT. They're just so confident in their backcourt defense na kahit wala silang mahawakan sa harapan. They have Kat Arado there guarding the floor. Right in position. Doesn't even move. Just really needs to put her hands out to get that dig.
And that is exactly what Sam said also in her report a while ago. Majoy said she trusts Kat entirely. And another one here for Robbins Hardy.
Point number 3. You're seeing a lot of 1-2 plays from Robbins Hardy. She went for a hard swing earlier. Now it's a simple drop ball. Defense wasn't ready. Parang she wants to join the scoring column for Farm Fresh.
High IQ setter we have here for Farm Fresh. Trisha Tubu elevates. Nandun si Savi.
Oh!
And a sorry miss for Eliza Bertolano. Hit that corner. Thought it was going to go outside.
Point
Not the best decision.
for Kat Arado. Bertolano was chasing after that ball, but last second she let go of that one.
PLDT down by just 1. Alohi finds Ses from the left. Gets it to go.
Solid down the line hit from Ces Molina.
She is the second best scorer here for the Farm Fresh Foxies, averaging 14 points per game. Also adding that veteran leadership in the squad. And she will serve. Caf gives this one to Davison.
Savi Davidson getting it at the highest point, getting past the single block of Trisha Tubu. That's really a non-negotiable for Farm Fresh. When Savi Davidson is up front, you need at least 2 blockers to guard her.
And she is starting to heat up here in our first set. If you're Farm Fresh, you do not want that. Now it's going to be another one for PLDT.
That's a free point for the high-speed hitters. It was an overset from Kim Fajardo. Sakto sa position ni Trisha Tubu.
And we are all tied up at 12. Our 5th deadlock early on here in set number 1. Alohi finds Royce, makes do, goes back to Farm Fresh. The bump, back to Royce. Perfect timing for Trisha Tubu.
Quick recovery for Trisha Tubu. After that unforced error, getting a gift from the high-speed hitters. Up high and down hard.
And right in front of Aliyah Malaluan. Meneses serving. Fajardo goes to Baron with a quick. And they have perfected that play over the years.
These were the options na mini-mention ni Coach Ral in that timeout. As long as you're in system, you can deliver fast sets to the middle.
We're tied 13 all. It's received. Chance for PLDT. They give it to Savi versus Tubu. And Trisha says, nope, I know what you're gonna do.
I was surprised that Savi Davidson went for a drop ball. De Guzman was already late for the block. There were a lot of open zones on the floor of Farm Fresh, but she went for a soft one.
Just babies that one. And puts Farm Fresh up by 1. Calf. Savi. Better power, no coverage.
That was a situation na dun sana yung drop ball.
Correct.
Two established blockers, De Guzman and Robbins Hardy, closing off all possible angles against Savi Davidson.
It's going to be the first point of Des in this game. Calf to Baron again. Almost. Davison flying high. No chance for Farm Fresh.
Savi Davidson getting a point back for PLDT. She will really be challenged by the defense of Farm Fresh, not just up front but also in the back row. For sure, nag-usap na yung liberos and blockers kung ano yung mga angles na bubuksan nila against Savi Davidson.
So she's got to be very creative today. Calf, little too tight, sends it over. Robbins Hardy goes to Tubu, flying from the back. What a game so far from Trisha Tubu. Her team is up 16-14.
16 for Farm Fresh, 14 for PLDT.
We were talking about her a while ago. She's been that X factor here for the Farm Fresh Foxies. We focus now a little bit on Royce Tobino. Fresh Honey. Her last 4 games, she had 70 points. Neil, what can you say about her and how she's been performing here for Farm Fresh?
I'm not surprised with the performance of Royce Tobino. She's had a lot of championships sa mga previous club teams niya in the past. 18 points per game, that's a normal occurrence for the Sergeant.
Are we even surprised at this point? Really a veteran that we have watched so many years here in the PVL. Glad to know that she's found herself a home with Farm Fresh. And now we have Ces Molina, also another key addition, joining the scoring party for the Foxies.
For me, Ces Molina is really the biggest addition, the most important piece in the puzzle.
Correct.
For Farm Fresh. They really need an outside hitter that has an all-around game. She can score 20 points in one game, but she's also a good defender.
Correct. And has really helped Tubu with that scoring load here in this conference. Molina dug up. They go to Davison for the back row. Good dig. Molina again. An exchange happening now. And good call from Trisha Tubu. Too much angle for Malaluan.
4-point lead for the Foxies.
And you like seeing that aggressiveness, from the Farm Fresh Foxies. They finished 4th place in the preliminary round. You can kind of say they are the underdogs here. And of course, these two teams really want that fast pass to the semifinals. They want to make it easier for themselves. Alcantara, bump set to Aliyah.
Malaluan going high and long, getting past that wall of the Foxies.
And surprising Royce Tobino, who immediately regretted the decision. 3-point lead now for Farm Fresh. Alohi goes to Des. Up high, down low for De Guzman.
Short slide for De Guzman. Height is might. Unchallenged up top. Only a late single block set up by the high-speed hitters.
Substitutions here for Coach Koji. Cruz checking in. They're holding on to a 4-point push in the first set. Cruz to serve. Angge finds Aliyah, goes cross. Tabino, the bump to Ses, adjusts. Malaluan again, she is blocked.
You can hear Kat Arado calling out the number of blockers. Nasa harapan, we heard her say, dalawa yung blockers na nasa harapan mo. You have to find a way to score.
Too late for Aliyah. And I mean, comment Alohi in this match. I mean, first set pa lang Neil, we're seeing how much he wants to win this game.
Already has points in attacking, pero meron na din sa kill block.
4 points now for Alohi. Angge, back set to De Leon, soft touch, good read.
The bench will also be crucial for both PLDT and Farm Fresh. When your number is called, you need to give your team a couple of points.
In all fairness to Jessie, she has been a player that really gives those quality minutes to Coach Ralph. 4-point lead for Farm Fresh. Trisha Tubu winds up. And look at her goal. You can see all the celebrations after the attacks, Neil.
She hasn't been checked much, I would say, here in the first set. Yan, a loose block from PLDT. Isa na naman yung nasa harap against Trisha Tubu. So the discipline should be present for PLDT. You have to try your best to catch up to those single blocks.
Giving her free rein to create some damage here. Good hustle. Tubu again. Look at her go. 7 big points for Trisha Tubu here in our first set. Take a look at this first. That is Trisha Tubu for you. Timeout, PLDT.
Mas madali makascore, pero yung mga mahirap na yung pang pipas, gawin natin paraan muna. Sila rin sila mag-pipas. Sila muna tayo. Go,
Coach Rod put an emphasis on that blocking. That is the bread and butter of the PLDT high-speed hitters. I mean, KKD, also one of the best blocking opposites that we have in the league right now. What about Savi Davidson, one of our MVP candidates as well. 6-point lead for Farm Fresh. They're looking to close out this first set. Calf, back set to KKD. Great point from that timeout.
3 points for KKD. Points have been scattered. On the side of PLDT, Davison has 4, Malaluan has 3, and Reyes has 2.
Prado overshoots that one straight from the bench. That's going to be a service error. Of Prado. (23 serving 17). PLDT needs a good swing. Canis check. Savi gets a check.
It's a way around the double block of Farm Fresh. Kanina pa established yung blockers ng Foxies against Savi Davidson. So they have to also target the fingertips from time to time with a high trajectory para makuha nila yung mga hit outs. They're still down by 5, but there will be a timeout called by the Farm Fresh Foxies.
Don't stop. Okay. Don't stop. 25, 19 finish. 25, 21 finish. Big difference. One catch. One catch. Coach.
Coach Koji trying to halt the momentum here of the PLDT high-speed hitters.
He wants a strong finish from the girls. was pointing out, may pagkakaiba yung 19-25, 21-25 when you get a big lead against your opponents. It will give you big confidence definitely when you head to the next set. And tsaka yung instant sign out na hinahanap ni Coach Koji, makukuha din nila off that unforced error of the high-speed hitters. A net fault was called on Savi Davidson.
Take a look.
Was on Majoy Baron.
So yes, definitely it looks like Farm Fresh will get this first set versus PLDT. Calf finds Savi. She is denied. The door is closed for Davison. As the Farm Fresh Foxies take this first set versus the PLDT high-speed hitters. Pure Gold always panalo play of the set, brought to you by Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold, always panalo. We'll be right back. And the Farm Fresh Foxies take set number 1 for the PLDT high-speed hitters, 25-18. Very strong start here for Farm Fresh as they enter this match. And what was missing on the side of PLDT, Neil?
PLDT wasn't able to take advantage of their strength in blocking. They were outblocked by Farm Fresh. And yun yung goal ng bawat isa eh. For PLDT, they want to control the numbers of Trisha Tubu. For Farm Fresh, they want to control the numbers of Savi Davidson. But with how set number 1 was played, it was very evident that Farm Fresh was in total control. Trisha Tubu had a high efficiency attacking rate in set number 1. That's why they had 2 more attacks compared to PLDT. And look at the blocking. 5 for Farm Fresh. The coverage wasn't there for the high-speed hitter. So, kailangan mas ready sila, mas mabilis din yung reaction time when they're covering for Savi Davidson. Because when you have a strong and fast hitter like Savi, mas mabilis bumabalik yung bola. So, reaction time will really be everything for the high-speed hitters.
And there really has to be that sense of urgency, right, for both teams. Because again, a win today will book them a ticket straight away to the semifinals. If they drop this game, then they will have to figure in another match, a do-or-die match, if I'm not mistaken, right, Neil, versus the winner of Galleries and Next Led.
That's one of the advantages of being part of the top 4. When you lose games in the qualifying round, hindi ka pa malalaglag agad. You get another life as you wait for the results of the play-in tournament.
But again, we keep saying it, you just want to make things easier for yourself. You get enough time to rest and recover and avoid further complications down the stretch should they arise.
Diba din yung pressure sa play-ins eh. Yesterday, the lower-seeded team in Galleries Tower won against Capital One in straight sets. Then Bruce Coffee challenged the Flying Titans into a 5-set matchup.
It's been a very unpredictable conference, to say the least. As we get back to this game, that's going to be an error on Trisha Tubu.
Efficiency rate was at 20% for PLDT in set number 1, 30% for Farm Fresh.
Much is expected from PLDT in this set. Calf goes to KKD, put some muscle into it.
That is going to be an alternative option for Kim Fajardo. Now that all eyes are on Savi Davidson, reverse setting can actually work for the high-speed hitters.
And we have seen this from PLDT. They perform best when there's great ball distribution by CAF. Tubu will chase. They send it over. Chance here for the high-speed hitters. They go to Savi with a soft touch. It goes back to PLDT. Way too tight. Chance now for Farm Fresh. Back set to Tubu. And you got two high-speed hitters trying to aim for that ball. It's still a point for Trisha.
The high-speed hitters have to know that Kim Fajardo is a back row player. So every time you deliver tight passes, it will be hard for her to save those balls. Lalo na pag mabilisan yung balik ng bola in transition.
Molina will serve. CAF, back set to KKD. Bertalano sends it over. Chance, PLDT. To KKD again. This time she's blocked.
Still no coverage behind PLDT. It's the first kill block of Farm Fresh in the set.
Third point for Royce Tobino. We're all tied up at 2. CAF finds Savi, goes cross off the hands of Bertalano.
Our cross-court hit works for Savi Davidson. 6 points already for her. Still the top scorer for PLDT as expected.
Mika will serve for PLDT. Aloy to Riri. Getting everybody involved now. Perfect time to turn it over to Sam Corrales. Go ahead, Sam.
Billy and Neil, Aliyah Malaluan admitted to me earlier that in their last game, she was shocked by her performance, being the second top scorer next to Savi Davidson. She said that moment gave her a lot of confidence, especially as she starts for her team today. It helped her realize the different variations she can make when attacking. And I asked her how she's grown so far with the team this conference. She said she wants to continue to improve, bouncing back after errors, being more mentally tough. And today, she specifically worked on passing because, as you guys mentioned, they work better together. And so, with no pressure surrounding Aliyah, she's surrounded by her ates, the veterans, the Taft Towers from the green and white. So she said that she is just going to do her best and play with confidence. Back to you both.
Thanks so much, Sam. We definitely see that confidence from Aliyah here in the All-Filipino Conference. And a lot of confidence from Trisha Tubu as well.
Efficiency is still on point for Trisha Tubu, knowing what to do with that ball against the double blocks of PLDT.
Currently the best spiker in the league. Back set to Baron with a slide.
We're seeing a lot of clean hits from PLDT early on in the second set. Couple of reverse sets to KKD, and now a slide attack for Majoy Baron.
We have Myla Pablo in attendance, enjoying this match. Unfortunately, service error for Savi Davidson. Not the strongest suit of the high-speed hitters. We're tied at 5. Very similar start to that first set. We'll see how this one pans out. Tobino serving. CAF finds Baron again. And they need an answer for that slide attack from Majoy Baron.
What I'm seeing right now from PLDT, mas nasa right pin karamihan ng sets ni Kim Fajardo because she knows that Robbins Hardy is a tall blocker.
CAF finds Savi. Nothing yet. The back set to Tubu. Right past Davidson. And that is point number 11.
11 points na pala yun.
Or Trisha Tubu, just like
Ang
that.
bilis. First player in double digits from both ends of the court. Trisha Tubu flying in from the back row.
No blink and you'll miss it. One of her best conferences yet. Smart move from Kath. Puts herself on the board.
Good save from Kim Fajardo. Ball was about to go over the net. As a frontline player, she had that option to go for a dump.
Kath to serve. Alohi finds Cess. Great defense from PLDT, but a chance for Farm Fresh. Nandoon si Kath. Malaluan, little too tight, makes do. They're scrambling. Kath, the back set to KKD is money for the high-speed hitters. They are up by 2, 8-6.
First technical timeout, 8 for PLDT, 6 for Farm Fresh.
UAAP Season 88 Volleyball is in full swing. Watch the games every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Pilipinas Live app. Also available on the UAAP Varsity channel and One Sports, because legends start here. The former UAAP players here on the court today. We had Mika Reyes, you saw on your screens. Aliyah Malaluan also, one of the newest additions, newest players for PLDT, making waves in the PVL. As we get back to this match, 2-point lead for the high-speed hitters. Molina wants to change that. They're asking for a check. First referee says outside. Are they gonna call a challenge? They will let this one go.
So 3-point lead established by PLDT early here in set number 2.
Much better showing for PLDT. More solid. Meneses. A quick play.
Look at Robbins Hardy splitting the block of PLDT. Ang dami nating nakikitang single block from the high-speed hitters, even in set number 1. That's the main thing that they have to bring back kasi mas nakikita natin yung sistema nila pag at least dalawa yung blockers.
Right. And meanwhile, great defense from Far Fresh, but PLDT has it. KKD will try. She's not successful. Kath goes to Reyes. That's outside. No check.
No challenge also from the high-speed hitters. Lead us down to 1.
Remember, we did mention that PLDT is the best blocking team in the league. Farm Fresh is at a close second. Aliyah, who quickly apologizes to her ate. No biggie. She gets the point. 4 for her. This cycle of the set is brought to you by Dunkin', pasalubong ng bayan.
Hitting the shoulders of Royce Cubino.
PLDT up by 2. Malaluan serving. Robbins Hardy finds Riri, not this time. Kath to Davison. She's met at the net. They try the other side. KKD. An exchange happening now. Tubu miscalculates the attack.
Contact point was too low for Trisha Tubu. Wanted to go down the line. Mukhang late siya nag-decision.
And we all know that split-second decisions matter so much in volleyball, as Farm Fresh calls a timeout.
Okay, good defense, good defense. Good defense. Next one catch. Side walk. Your walk. Okay, go, let's go. Patience, let's go.
Hey, my friend!
talk about Kim, Kiana D, KKD, always on beat on the court. Take a look at her prelims round stats.
Sabihin mo, hawak mo ang beat. KKD.
Because you're all fans of her dancing videos. Go ahead, Neil.
Number 2 in attacking. So, blocking and attacking, nandyan na yan. Parehas for Farm Fresh. They have Trisha Tubu. The Foxies, they have KKD for PLDT. And both opposites have been so active in providing points for their team.
KKD averaging 13.1 points per game. Looking so confident this conference. And we're all glad that she's healthy and playing at her best. Right now, her team holding on to a 2-point advantage. We have Jelena De La Cruz checking in for Coach Koji. Calf goes to Mika. She's blocked. It's a 4th point
against Triri Meneses.
Good matchup to watch out for as well. Great read from Meneses. Calf. Savi from the left pin. She's denied. Kiana tries, a little too low.
That lead has gone for PLDT. Now it's Coach Ralph's turn to call for time.
Yun na lang yung mini adjustment. Next biglang dikit. Bawas sa zero. Adjust pa, adjust pa. Nakain talaga malaki. Go, 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 go.
Cover lang tayo. Cover lang tayo.
We have Jean Assis also in attendance here at Smart Araneta Coliseum.
Enjoying her popcorn.
Let's leave her be. Eat and peace.
Well deserved. They just won their game in straight sets.
She gets a rest day today.
One step up sa ating step ladder format. For the losing teams in the qualifying round, medyo delikado rin because the team that would be facing them would be coming off a win.
Right.
Sila manggagaling sa talo. So confidence will be different for both sides. Don't look now, Farm Fresh has regained the lead. That's 4 straight points for the Foxies.
Proving to be a very good matchup between these two teams. 1 point lead for Farm Fresh. Not the kind of error you want at all. Service error for Jelena De La Cruz. They're tied 12. Mika's turn to serve. Alohi. Babalik sa Farm Fresh. Tubu will need to adjust. Reyes, the bump to Savi. Challenging the blockers. That's still a save. Great defense from the Foxies. Davison. Tubu. A little too much sauce for Aliyah Malaluan as Trisha Tubu gets her 12th point of the ball game.
Hats off to Aloy Robbins-Hardy and Bia General for keeping that ball alive. That was an excellent dig from General against that combination play of PLDT. Kim Parda starting to move the pieces, but defense was just there for Farm Fresh.
Just rock solid for the Foxies. Kim goes to KKD. That's dug up. Tobino. Baron.
Good set for Kim Fajardo. Going for another quick attack. This time a back quick play. Only against one defender. I'm just in awe lagi every time I look at Kat Arado. Kasi sakto siya eh. Diba?
Sabi mo nga hindi gumagalaw.
Hindi
pero
talaga siya gumagalaw. Kung gagalaw man siya, 1 or 2 steps to get that dig. But most of the time, she's in the right position.
I mean, that is why she's one of the best liberos that we have. And I would say in the country today. One point lead for Farm Fresh. PLDT needs a good swing. They turn to Savi. Nothing yet Tobino with a hit out. Point number 3 for Royce.
Wasn't the strongest of hits from Savi Davidson. And when you deliver a soft hit to Farm Fresh, dahil nga ang ganda ng ginagalaw nila sa backcourt defense nila, you can expect a hard ball na bumalik sa inyo. Now it's a 2-point lead for Farm Fresh. 13 points already for Trisha Tubu.
Off 11 attacks and 2 blocks. A lot of confidence on the side of the Foxies. Davison babies that one. Tobino. Nandoon si Arado. 1-2 play. No good. Tobino again. Savi, she's blocked. She'll try one more time. And Jolina just letting that one go. Point will go to Savi Davidson.
Good find for Savi Davidson. Zone 1 was open. For Farm Fresh, they're getting all the right rebounds. That's the reason why the Guzman is in that starting unit. But they have to guard those end zones.
With the help of the tape of the net here for Farm Fresh. 16-14. We'll be right back.
14 for PLDT.
The 2026 MPTC Tour of Luzon is back. Bigger, bolder, and tougher than ever. Local and international cyclists face a grueling 14-stage battle across 13 provinces in 5 regions, an 1,800-kilometer test of endurance, speed, and strategy. Don't miss a single moment. Catch all the action live on the Pilipinas Live app, also on One Sports and One Sports Plus.
Earlier, you saw Maddie Madayak and Sir Ricky Palou enjoying the action. Leah Torres also from the Cool Smashers.
Have a game later on, a very big game also versus Signal. And Royce Tobino gets a service ace. Does not help the campaign of PLDT.
Now they're targeting Savi Davidson on reception. That's an ace for Royce Tobino.
The slide from Majoy. 6 points for Baron. Effective so far. Baron serving. Alohi goes to Des. And the blockers are coming alive in this match, Neil.
They have similar plays. Yung short slide na yan from the Guzman, that has been effective for Farm Fresh. Tapos meron ding short slide si Mika Reyes and Majoy Baron.
3-point push for Farm Fresh. Here comes Des. Babalik kay Aliyah. Dug up by Royce. Alohi to Jolina. Malaluan. Off the hands of Royce Tobino. 5 points now for Aliyah.
Balance production from the PLDT side, keeping their heads afloat. Still down by 2. This is the time for them to get their own run. A while ago, they had a 3-point lead.
They gotta take matters into their own hands. They're down by 2. Robbins Hardy goes to Riri. Good placement. I think there's a wet spot on the floor. Medyo nadula si Kath Arado.
Simple drop ball. Works for Riri Meneses.
And things panning out so far for Farm Fresh. They're down, or they're up rather, by 3 points. Kath. Savi from the back row. Right on target for Davison.
That has been the most consistent point of attack for Savi Davidson. She even has a higher percentage in killing balls pagdating sa back row compared sa harapan.
PLDT playing catch-up now. Molina fights her way through.
Another quick side out for Farm Fresh. Even if PLDT wants to make a mini run, napuputol agad because of the likes of Ces Molina and Royce Tubino.
Again, Farm Fresh looking really aggressive in this match. You love to see it. Ces Molina now with 5 points off 4 attacks and 1 block. Caf finds KKD through the block.
Kim Fajardo is trying her best to work with these short passes. Bump reverse set to KKD still works for them, targeting the shorter blocker there in Tubino.
Second off the hands of Royce Tubino. It's a 2-point advantage still for Farm Fresh. PLDT cannot seem to go past him. Kiseo will serve. Robbins Hardy gives this one to Tubino. A little too much angle, too strong. It will sail outside. Will there be a challenge called? I believe so. They're going to ask for a check on that one.
It's going to be the first challenge of the day, a block touch challenge.
Scoreboard reads 20-19 in favor of the Farm Fresh Foxies. They've been playing so well in this game. For those who just tuned in, they did win that first set versus PLDT. Take a look at this. There will be no block touch.
That will be unsuccessful for Farm Fresh. Now a 1-point game.
The score remains. If you're PLDT, you want to make this even with the Foxies. They're down by 1. Meneses. That's going to be an instant point. Does not go over. Riri looking at the bench.
No challenge from Farm Fresh. They will be saving that last challenge opportunity. Wala talaga.
Did not go over. Clear as day.
Hit the tape of the net.
Chance here for PLDT to finally grab the lead. 9th deadlock. Royce. Off the block.
7 points for Royce Tubino, getting a hit out against KKD. Now, De Guzman is back up front, so that is good news for Coach Koji in terms of net defense.
Caf. Savi. Almost, but not quite for Davison. And with that, Coach Raul will call for time.
One good pass, let's go. Go guys, pass, pa. Oh, first minute, let's go. Hey, ready?
This is the point in the game na importante yung power when it comes to getting points. That last hit of Davison kind of felt half-hearted. Wasn't the strongest
Like
of hits.
Sure, yeah.
She wasn't sure, yes, but now you're down by 2 points. You have to commit to an angle and really go for power to challenge the defense of Farm Fresh.
You gotta put some muscle into it, which we did not see with that attack from Savi. They're down by 2. Davison again. Lucky for them, they get that point still. Talking about PLDT.
That's a lucky break for the high-speed hitters if they were able to keep that ball alive. Talking about Farm Fresh. Opportunity na sana sa kanila para maka-attack. Another timeout.
My team 20. Focus. Everyone, 6 members. Go to block. 6 members go to defense. 6 members go to spot. Go.
Farm Fresh holding on to a slim 1-point lead versus the PLDT high-speed hitters. A crucial part of this second set, as Alcantara will be on deck to serve for PLDT. Alohi, back set to Tubu. Arado, the bump to Savi, will adjust. That's gonna go to the high-speed hitters.
That fault will be called on Farm Fresh, so that's 2 unforced errors for the Foxies. Izakus will now check in for the Guzman.
There's gotta be some more composure here for these two squads. 22 all. Alcantara serves. Alohi goes to Tobino. Not today, says Najoy Baron.
Just in time. Solid wall built by PLDT. Jesse De Leon and Majoy Baron teaming up for that rejection.
Love that enthusiasm from Baron. 1-point lead, PLDT. Tubu will answer back. And that is how you do it, Neil.
That is a convincing swing from Trisha Tubu. He knows that that's the only way to score. 23 all. More substitutions for Coach Koji. Maylene Paat will check in alongside Luis Romero.
The team captain and the veteran, respectively.
Team captain Luis Romero.
Alcantara, the slide to Baron. Look at her go. Majoy Baron now with 8 points. 2 of those in the crucial parts of our second set, Neil.
Just 1 point behind Savi Davidson. 3 hitters now for the high-speed hitters.
Set point na ang PLDT. Farm Fresh goes to Tobino. She's blocked. Good cover. She'll try again. Does not pan out for Royce Tobino, as the PLDT high-speed hitters even things out. They will take this set number 2 versus the Farm Fresh Foxies. Pure Gold Always Panalo play of the set, brought to you by Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold, always Panalo. There you have it. Set number 2. We'll be right back to the third.
Mic test.
And the PLDT high-speed hitters, they level the playing field versus the Farm Fresh Foxies and take set number 2, 25 to 23 in 29 minutes of play. What an incredible effort here from the PLDT high-speed hitters, taking that one from Farm Fresh.
I think Farm Fresh let that one go because they had a good possession na in the tail end of set number 2. This is where you see how important small balls are in a volleyball game. When Farm Fresh committed back-to-back unforced errors, that's when PLDT regained confidence. And yung last point din ng Farm Fresh, it came off an attack error. So that's really unfortunate for the Foxies because it looked like they were about to take set number 2. Efficiency is now with PLDT at 34%. Di naman ganun kalayo, 33% for the Foxies. But Farm Fresh still controlled the net, but they gave 9 free points to the high-speed hitters.
A very interesting matchup between these two teams. Thank you so much for joining us on Filipinas Live, One Sports and One Sports Plus. I'm Billy Capistrano. We have Neil Flores over here, and of course, our lovely courtside reporter, Miss Sam Corrales. And Sam, you know, in such a high-stakes game like this, a lot of emotions from the players, a bit of pressure as well. But what is the mindset of our teams coming into today's match?
That's right. I mean, we saw it at the end of the second set. Medyo nag-struggle yung Farm Fresh, and Cesc Molina said they need composure, they need maturity. Because if you can recall their last matchup, this conference, it was in 5 sets. They actually almost had the chance to win. But again, it was that finishing touch, yung panapos. And that's exactly the motivation of Trisha Tubu. Sabi ko nga kanina, di ba, ito yung kryptonite niya, yung PLDT high-speed hitters. Roy Sabino is playing like she wants to win that championship right now. And so, on the other side of the net for PLDT, for Majoy Baron, she said, you know, it's just a normal game. You know, talagang swag. I mean, she is still very humble. She said she's treating this just like a normal game, nothing special. She doesn't want to overthink it. And we have to remember that PLDT is a top team. They know how to win. They've got the tools. So we're excited to see how things will come around in this third set.
All right, thank you so much, Sam. We'll see you later on. Can't wait to hear more of your stories about the players, about this game, about our teams. But right now, we have set number 3 underway. So as we said, we have PLDT leveling the playing field. They even things out. Magkakaalaman na because, again, it's a high-stakes game between these two squads. The winner gets to go straight to our semifinals and avoids a do-or-die match versus the loser, I believe, of the game between Next Led and Galleries. Here we go, set number 3. That's going to be an early point. First point for Trisha Tubu. Has 16 already today.
Might set a new career high at this rate. We are still looking for the numbers of PLDT and blocking because first 2 sets, Farm Fresh pa yung mas maraming nakuha.
Very uncharacteristic here for the high-speed hitters. Here comes Malaluan. Too much angle for Aliyah.
Quick 2-point lead established by the Foxies. Aside from the blocking, we're also looking for more consistency in passing for PLDT. Kim Fajardo has been chasing after a lot of short balls. Buti na lang nako-convert nung mga wing spikers yung out-of-system plays ng high-speed hitters.
Extra cardio for Kim Fajardo in this game today. But what Trisha Tubu, parang hindi napapagod. First set pa lang, you know, she was on fire and keeping that momentum here in the third. Flawless. Malaluan will try. Easy pickings for Aliyah.
6 points for Aliyah Malaluan. Not too bad to support the numbers of her teammates.
Alohi goes to Riri. Savi from the left. They try Tubu. Just challenging the blockers of PLDT. At yan talaga yung walang takot na pinag-uusapan natin. Pinag-uusapan natin rather in that second set, Neil.
Timing can be tricky because look at how Trisha Tubo waited pa before she hit that ball. May konting hang time before she goes for a swing. So you also have to take that into consideration.
3-point lead for Farm Fresh. KKD puts it away.
8 points for KKD. So 3 players already have 8 points. That's D, Baron, and Davison.
They gotta be able to sustain that all throughout. Mika serving. Alohi to Royce. Dug up. Savi over the blockers. Good cover. KKD. Again, muscling her way through with that point number 9 for Kim Kennedy.
Becoming a showdown between the opposite hitters, Trisha Tubo and KKD going at it, exchanging points.
We love to see it. To the best opposite spikers in the league today. PLDT down by 1. Here comes Mika. Tobino. Kiana again. Not this time. Love that elevation, that hang time. She'll try one more time. That's gonna be a block.
That's the net defense that we know from PLDT.
Yep, I was gonna say.
2 consecutive sections against Trisha Tubo.
Yan yung mga hinahanap natin from the high-speed hitters. Way too strong for Mika. Gives a point to Farm Fresh. Aliyah. Chance here for Farm Fresh. Combination play, read well. So the blocking is definitely back, Neil.
10 points for Savi Davidson. No entry, says Savi Davidson. It's 2 kill blocks for Trisha Tubo. Trisha Tubo is asking for a higher set from Robbins Hardy.
There we go. Exactly what she wanted. She got it. Let's take a look at this spike of the set brought to you by Dunkin, pasalubong ng bayan.
Look how she quickly changed angles and directions. Nakita niya na hindi sumabay si Majoy Baron.
The slide from Des. So working for her. Everybody getting involved. Not just for Farm Fresh, but for PLDT as well. 2-point lead for the Foxies. Tubo will serve. Baron Stern. That's inside.
If you can do it, we can do it too, says Majoy Baron.
Just mirroring each other.
And that's how they get the split block. It was also a single block coverage from Farm Fresh.
Just a 1-point lead for the Foxies. They need a good swing. They go to Royce. That's the answer right there. And with that, Farm Fresh still leads 8-6.
Welcome back. You're still watching the PVL All-Filipino Conference qualifying round. Now, earlier we saw that PLDT really works better when they distribute the ball. If that's the case for them, on the other side of the net, for Royce Tubino and the Farm Fresh Foxies, mas gusto niya na under pressure. Sabi niya sa akin, dahil sundalo ako, gusto ko yung dikdikan ang laro kapag sumisigaw lahat sa loob. And that's exactly what we are getting here, Billy and Neil. And she sent a reminder for her troops tonight. If we focus on ourselves, lalabas yung laro natin. It's basic volleyball. Kahit ma-block, dapat may tiwala na may magre-receive. Help Royce Tubino and the Farm Fresh Foxies get their championship here in the PVL. Vote for them and Royce at the PVL.ph All-Star website, because on May 1 in Candon City, the Volleyball All-Star Showcase will begin.
Thanks for that, Sam. Royce Tubino now with 8 points in our match. As she mentioned, vote now for the All-Star game. As we check out this challenge first, a little bit of a breather for both our teams. Scoreboard reads 9-6. Block touch challenge called by the PLDT high-speed hitters.
No block touch. It's very clear that the set was low. Again, the ball hit the tape of the net.
But still gonna stay with Farm Fresh. Unsuccessful challenge for Coach Rald and company. 9-6. Kim, not this time for Baron. They'll try Savi. Not the best of attacks for Davison. And what happened, you think, there, Neil?
I get the intention of going for a drop ball, but when you're attacking from the back row or malayo ka sa net, kailangan mo dagdagan yung power kasi may distance ka rin consider. Plus the height of the hands of the blockers, yung block reach nila, kailangan mo rin lampasan.
Not the best decision making there for Savi. Ito na lang, Majoy Baron. Still turning on the Jets here. 9 points so far off 7 attacks and 2 blocks for Baron. Her best performance, she scored 14. Let's get back to this game. 3-point lead, Farm Fresh. That is outside for Aliyah.
PLDT is committing a lot of attack errors here in set number 3 to give Farm Fresh a 4-point lead.
And in this kind of game, you can already say na medyo malaki na nga yung 4-point na advantage. But they are inching closer now. Point for Mika Reyes. Second point of the game. They're down by 3. Here comes Scaf. Service ace for Fajardo, cutting the lead down to just 2.
I know they're not up there in the serving category, but Kim Fajardo is actually a good server.
A very good server.
Even in college, pag magtatanong ka sa mga UAAP players, sino yung pinakamahirap receive na serve? It's Kim Fajardo for Lasal.
We've heard a lot of stories from our friends, Neil, about the services of Kim Fajardo. Until now, gives them nightmares. At any rate, Farm Fresh holding on to that lead.
KKD on that differential set to get the point for the high-speed hitters.
Malaluan will serve. Meneses out of system. Chance here, PLDT. Back set to KKD. With a put away.
Now surpasses all scorers from PLDT, now with 11 points.
as Farm Fresh will call for time. Let's listen in.
Go, go, one catch, one catch. Era, all era. Defense, defense. This score. Here. This defense, defense. Defense.
Oo, kailangan yung dumipensa kasi nasasarado natin yung line. Problema, pag lumusot talaga, walang dumidepensa sa
All right,
line.
stop. Zero, zero.
Stop!
We heard the voice of Coach Kung Fu. They are closing out those line angles para kay KKD. But when she shifts direction and targets the cross, the defenders have to be ready. Kasi alam mo na, sarado na yung line eh. So most probably, cross talaga yung pupuntahan ni KKD.
And that's why the word defense was repeated multiple times during that timeout. They're gonna save this one.
Ooh.
And no one there. A little miscommunication for the Foxies. Easy point for Aliyah.
That is painful for Farm Fresh because they worked hard to save that shank pass from Royce Tubino. Ces Molina saving that ball with one hand, but no follow-up to other teammates. And this is what happened to them in that second set, yung mga last few moments. Yung mga minor miscues.
That's right, they gotta stay in the game all throughout. Molina from the left, challenging the blockers of PLDT. Calf finds Savi over the blockers. Tubu. Nandun si Aliyah. KKD! Point City strikes again.
Same set, same angle, same result. For PLDT, reverse set, Kim Pajardo. Money for KKD.
With her family also, we saw on the screen a while ago in attendance, supporting her here in the qualifying round. We have De La Cruz, Jules checking in for Farm Fresh. Her team down by 1. There we go. That's what we want to see from Savi Davidson. A lot more power and good read. Regalo.
She's probably the most athletic one on the floor
She
right
is.
now. So she just has to go for it. Doesn't matter if she gets blocked. Basta humingi siya ng suporta sa likuran.
Tubu. No entry.
Farm Fresh's turn to give away 3 points to the high-speed hitters.
And you don't want to lose that morale as well if you're Farm Fresh. You have to keep the energy at an all-time high, especially versus a team like PLDT. There's got to be that confidence that stays. Tubu blocked again. It continues for the high-speed hitters. They're up by 4 points, 16 to 12.
12 for Farm Fresh.
UAAP Season 88 Volleyball is in full swing. Watch the games every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Pilipinas Live app. Also available on the UAAP Varsity channel and on One Sports because legends start here. 4-point push for PLDT, but they give a chance here to Farm Fresh. De La Cruz. Way too strong.
Ball was
For
flat
Jules.
for Jolina De La Cruz. Don't look now. It's now a 5-point lead for the high-speed hitters. Another timeout for Farm Fresh.
You have a next set. Aigo, let's go. One more. Moro.
It is the biggest lead of PLDT in this game. 5 points versus the Farm Fresh Foxies. For those who just tuned in, Farm Fresh won the first set. PLDT won the second. We're all tied up now. 1 set apiece. We will see how this story unfolds. More breathing room for the high-speed hitters.
Malaluan serving hard, giving Farm Fresh a difficult time in passing that ball. Mylene Paat will replace Trisha Tubu up front.
6-point advantage now for PLDT. Alohi finds Paat. Dug up. Kiana D again. Unsuccessful this time. Take a look at General go. Everywhere on the floor. Paat, she is blocked. Savi with 13 big points.
Confidence is back. You can definitely feel it from Savi Davidson. That's her 3rd kill block this set.
There was a lot of hesitation in how she was moving the past couple of sets. Just about time for her to come alive. Paat again. Gandang bawi from Mylene.
Aragalang will check in to replace Royce Tubino.
And you can hear I don't know if the viewers can hear the cheers of the fans behind us, but everybody pretty happy to see Ara on the court play against her former teammates also. Nagkakatawanan na nga sa net.
Balik left wing si Aragalang.
Not this time. And you love the quality minutes that we're seeing from Mylene Paat.
When you need a strong opposite, you still have Mylene Paat.
Correct.
It is surprising pa din na she's part of the bench of Farm Fresh. She's starter material definitely, but Trisha Tubu has been the main source talaga of points of Farm Fresh ever since she joined the squad.
Alohi finds Paat again, this time no cover. Is blocking from Mika Reyes. Solid as ever.
So far, this is the best blocking set of PLDT. They've had numbers mostly from that side of the court. Savi Davidson and Majoy Baron.
And it's about time we're seeing that blocking come alive. Louis Romero will check in, the team captain for Alohi. It's a pretty big lead now for the high-speed hitters. Caseo will serve. Louis finds Ara over the blockers. Fajardo to Savi. No go. General to Paat. She's blocked. And you can really tell that PLDT means serious business in this 3rd set. Great blocking.
Hesitation sa movement ni Savi in terms of attacking, but when it comes to blocking,
nagugulat ako sa talo ni Savi. Parang what's her height? I'm assuming around 5'8". 5'8". Not the tallest definitely, but you can see her elevate. Such athleticism, as Neil mentioned a while back. Louis to Ara. Babalik sa PLDT. Savi will adjust. Paat. Good cover from the high-speed hitters. KKD. X marks the spot for Kiana. 13 points.
that's the kind of swing you need to give more confidence to your squad.
She has been all out this game, Neil. And she feels it too. She knows it. 22 serving 14. Pretty tough hill to climb for Farm Fresh. That will not help them here in the third set. The high-speed hitters inching closer to the end of the third and putting them in the lead in this match.
They'll take it. A point is a point.
Yep.
2 points away from winning set number 3.
Steady serving from Keseo. Romero goes to ring. Davison with a push. Paat. Chance here. KKD. No mercy. It has been all Kiana and Savi here in the latter parts of our third set. She puts her team at set point.
KKD just unstoppable at this point. Yes, she's been going cross the past couple of sequences dahil alam niya nakabantay na sa line yung Farm Fresh. But that time around, she challenged the block of Aragalang and got the point for the high-speed hitters.
And that's 7 points for KKD here in the third.
First point for Aragalang.
That's the first point for Aragalang, much needed as well.
Breaking the block of Majoy Baron and KKD. That was a tight double block, but she was still able to get through.
You have Cruz checking in for Des Clemente de Guzman. Turing will serve for Farm Fresh, 15 serving 24. Fajardo to Davison. Seals the deal in this third set. Puts them ahead versus the Farm Fresh Foxies 2-1. Pure Gold always panalo play of the set brought to you by Pure Gold. So Pure Gold always panalo. Savi Davidson finishes things off here in the third. We'll be right back. Really an incredible performance here for the PLDT high-speed hitters in our third set versus Farm Fresh. 25-15, 24 minutes of play. And it really was Savi Davidson and Kiana D combining powers to really help the case of PLDT in the third. Savi now with 15, 7 of those in the third, and D with 14 and 7 also in that third set, Neil.
We looked for the numbers in blocking from the PLDT side of things, and it's now back. Kaya ang laki nung kalamangan na na-build nila in set number 3. Farm Fresh just couldn't recover. There were so many unforced errors in the midpoint of set number 3, and even if Coach Koji tried to make substitutions, di na rin sila nakahabol. 6 blocks registered by the high-speed hitters. That was the missing piece talaga in set number 1 and 2. But now, they're in full control of the game. First encounter, you mentioned it was a 5-set match. Let's see if Farm Fresh can recover here in set number 4.
And again, it is a very, very crucial game for these two squads. For PLDT, they are 1 set away from barging into the semifinals. And as for Farm Fresh, they need that sense of urgency. They pushed this to a 5th set the last time, or this matchup into a 5th set the last time. They can do it again. Davison 15, Tubu with 19. We will see who will prevail in this game today. Thank you for joining us on Pilipinas Live. One Sports Plus. I'm Billy Capistrano with my partner Neil Flores and Sam Corrales giving us all the latest news from the sidelines. Here we go, set number 4.
Farm Fresh didn't have a lot of opportunities to attack in set 3. They only had 25 attempts compared to the 35 of PLDT. And that's also one of the biggest differences in set number 3, yung service game ng PLDT. Sinimulan ni Kim Fajardo, sinundan ni Alia Malaluan. It's Farm Fresh having a difficult time in that department.
Carrying that momentum over here to the 4th set. KKD, here comes Molina. Players scrambling on the floor as Molina gets the first point for Farm Fresh in the 4th.
Zone 1 was open once again on the floor of PLDT. So KKD and Alia Malaluan really has to talk kung ano ba yung iiwan niya na angle so that she can adjust her position accordingly.
Desclemente de Guzman, 4 points now in this game. Calf. Success is blocked.
Reyes was all over that ball. Kill block number 1. Oh, it's KKD getting the kill block. She's now at 15 points.
Kiana's the 10th best blocker in the league as well. Molina rolls it over. Calf goes to Savi. Goes cross. Successful. 16 points now for Davison.
You know you're in trouble when Savi Davidson is starting to go for heavier swings. Kanina, ang dami niyang binibigay na rolling shots, mga drop balls.
Soft
but now,
touches.
it's all hard balls from Savi Davidson.
Remember, she scored, I believe, 32 points in their previous meeting. Molina gets one for herself, 9 points.
Only one player is in double digits for Farm Fresh, so the other attackers have to increase their production if they want to extend this to a 5th. 19 points for Trisha Tubu. Sumunod sa kanya would be Ces Molina with 9.
So Tubu clearly doing the heavy lifting for the Farm Fresh Foxies as we check in with Sam Corrales. Go ahead, Sam.
Billy and Neil, you guys said it perfectly. Savi Davidson and the high-speed hitters definitely came alive in that 3rd set. And here at courtside, you could see Savi celebrating those kill blocks and even shared a light moment with Mylene Paat across her in the net. And at this point, PLDT needs to put their effort and energy in the right places. As Savi says, this will prove that they can show up when they need to. After all, there's no pressure at the top 1 spot, but pressure to take advantage of the fact that they can find a simpler way to the next stage. Vote for Savi Davidson and the Volleyball All-Star Showcase happening in May 1 in Candon City. Vote at pvl.ph/allstar. Back to you both.
Thanks for that, Sam. At this point of the conference, the simpler the better. So yes, they definitely want to win this game to get a ticket to the semifinals right off the rip. Savi again, this time point number 17. So far, so good for PLDT. They tie this game versus Farm Fresh. This has been one of the dominant campaigns of the high-speed hitters here in the PVL. And as for Farm Fresh, Neil, they have never entered actually the semifinals since they joined the PVL, I think back in 2023. That was the Invitational Conference. And this is, you know, a huge shot at doing that.
Yeah, I think that is the best preliminary round finish for the Foxies, ending in the top 4. Now, they have a chance to enter the semifinals without any complications dahil sa semifinals, round robin din naman tayo. All the teams are really trying to avoid the play-ins.
Kung ano madali, yun nga yung sasabi natin, diba? You wouldn't say the easy way out, not at all, but also you just want to keep things simple, as Sam said. We have a challenge here on the floor. All-in, all-out challenge for the PLDT high-speed hitters. Scoreboard reads 5-all. You can see the atmosphere has also changed on the side of PLDT. They were a little tense, a little stiff the past couple of sets. You see the smiles on the faces now. As opposed to Farm Fresh, where nakita natin yung tension na. We have another game after this. A really big one as well. Creamline versus Signal. As we take a look at the challenge.
That is in.
That is in. Unsuccessful for Coach Rauld. Stays with Farm Fresh. We're still at 5 apiece. Molina serving. It's a good serve. Savi will wait for it. Goes to Farm Fresh. Meneses, point number 7.
Need to bring back their numbers also in blocking, or at least try to match the output of PLDT. Kasi first 2 sets sila yung nakalamang in blocking.
Baron with a hit out off the block and outside for Majoy. Off the hands of Royce Tobino. Tied 6-all. Alohi goes to Tubu. Once again, we got the blocking here of PLDT. At center stage for them.
Outside hitters of PLDT are getting a couple of kill blocks against the best attacker of the league.
Riri. Too much angle. Stays outside. PLDT, the lead, 8-6. Epic matchup awaits us. The Creamline Cool Smashers will be taking on the Signal Super Spikers. And that's going to be a very, very exciting game between these two teams. You have Erica Santos with Doremdes already there. We can't wait for that one right after this. And by the end of today, we will already have 2 teams that are in the semifinals. They're going to chase it. Tobino. Calf to Baron. She's checked. Aliyah. She's been silent. Not anymore.
Aliyah Maluluan attacking the seam of the block of Trisha Tubu and Riri Meneses.
Substitution for Coach Koji. Doring checks in for Riri. Her team down by 3 points. Savi to serve. Straight to the net for Davison. Gives a free point to the Foxies. Coach Rauld not too happy about that.
But they give it back of that service error of Turing. It's hard to play catch-up against PLDT, lalo na pag pumupuntos lahat.
When everything is in order and working well. One hand set to Tobino, she will adjust. Baron, the bump to Aliyah. Robbins Hardy goes to Royce, goes cross. Kiana to Savi from the back row. The bump to Tubu. Kiana saves it. Chance here for Farm Fresh. They go to Royce. Long exchange between these two teams. Still alive. Tubu, babalik sa Farm Fresh. Tobino finishes the rally.
Farm Fresh winning that long rally of that Royce Tubino hit. She's been trying different angles, going to zone 1, 6, now going cross court. Spike of the set brought to you by Duncan, pasalubong ng bayan.
2-point lead for PLDT. Calf goes to Aliyah. She's blocked. Fajardo. Robbins Hardy goes to Clemente de Guzman. Aliyah again. Alohi finds Tobino, challenging the blockers. No go. Royce denied. Clemente de Guzman goes long.
That was the right choice for de Guzman. When the defense is already compressed in the middle, a power tip will not be a good option. You have to go for that corner pocket. Kanina Mika Renz tried to go for those power tips pero nadidepensahan ng Farm Fresh. He goes for a swing now and will get the point back for the high-speed hitters.
So now we're noticing that PLDT always has answers for the Farm Fresh Foxies, not letting them get too close. They're up by 2 points. Calf to serve. Tobino.
Point number 10 for Royce Tubino, second player in double digits for the Foxies.
Alongside Trisha Tubu with 21. So they definitely need more help here. Players on the court need to contribute. So waiting for Ces Molina. Well, she's at 9 right now. Just 1 point away from double-digit territory. Mika. Royce from the back. Miscalculates. A little too low for Tobino. Again, you mentioned, Neil, you don't want to play catch-up here versus PLDT. It's going to be a tough time. As Malaluan will serve, she has 9 points now. Robbins Hardy finds Ces Molina.
Great pass from General. That was a good floater from Aliyah Malaluan. He's set for Ces Molina. Saktong-sakto. The ball was near the antenna, so she was able to go for a hit out.
And now with 10 points, so 3 Foxies in double digits. KKD, look at that power, look at that muscle. 17 big ones from Kiana.
She's above the block of Farm Fresh. Even if the defense is ready, she can still go for those line shots. Still unstoppable.
And she has stayed on the entire match. Turing, no go. Fajardo finds Savi. Molina. There's a check. So not too far behind. Talking about Farm Fresh. They have yet to overtake though.
It's back-to-back hitouts for Ces Molina.
18 excellent sets now for Alohi Robbins Hardy. Fajardo back to KKD, different approach.
Even the
Same
power
output,
tip
yeah.
works for KKD, and Trisha Tubu was there in position to get that dig. She was able to keep that ball alive.
Kiana D on fire at this point here in our match. Much to the delight of our PLDT faithful, 17 points. Back set to Tubu. Aliyah did not stand a chance. 22 big ones now for Trisha.
Layo nung difference sa production sa Farm Fresh. 22 for Trisha
The next
Tubu,
one's 11.
10 for for Tubino and 11 for Molina. At least 3 players are in double digits.
But that disparity, you know, they really need to help Trisha even more. Savi. That's outside. No.
A block touch. That's the first referee. It's clear. Also, no challenge for Farm Fresh.
Hitting the index finger of Turing. 2-point push for PLDT. Alohi to Tobino. Sent back. It's still alive. Babalik kay Royce. Buhay pang bola. Tubu! Opposite spiker versus opposite spiker.
We saw it coming. Trisha Tubu backpedaling for an approach, asking for that set from Alohi Robbins Hardy. Late double block established by PLDT.
No hard feelings from KKD. Smiles it off, laughs it off. 1-point lead for the high-speed hitters. Arado, the bump to Aliyah. Straight to the hands of Turing. Alohi finds Sobino. Still alive. Easy. They go to Aliyah. Gets that point. Easy pickings for Aliyah Malaluan.
Also it's 10 points.
4 points? 4 players rather now in double digits for PLDT. The Farm Fresh Foxies versus the PLDT high-speed hitters. Thank you for joining us on Filipinas Live 1 Sports, 1 Sports Plus. Foxies now down by 2 points here in our 4th set. A very crucial one for them. As for Kim Fajardo and the rest of the PLDT high-speed hitters, cruise into the semifinals. So we gotta see what happens first. Calf to Savi from the back row. Right on the dot, right on the money for Davidson.
That's in again. Still consistent from the back row. Savi Davidson targeting the corner pocket. Ang laki ng zone na pwede niyang puntahan. Left corner pocket, right corner pocket, doesn't matter. Timeout Farm Fresh.
Okay. Number 6. 2 front. Now back attack. Go block. Go block. 1 block here. Here. Go to block. 1 point go. You have a chance. You have to stop the man. Have a chance.
A 3-point push for the PLDT high-speed hitters. Dangerous waters now for the Farm Fresh Foxies. Got KKD, one of the leading scorers in this match. 18 big points for her. Baron will serve. Alohi finds Tubu. Yan ang hinahanap nila kay Trisha Tubu. And of course, she will deliver.
She becomes so deadly when she doesn't wait for the blockers. Pag pinalo niya agad sa taas yung bola, pupuntos sila ng mabilisan.
And
Double sub.
Right on cue, the cheers get louder. We have Aragala and Louis Romero on the court now for Farm Fresh. Good dig. Romero, the bump to Galang over the blockers. They go to Mika. Finding that donut hole in the defense of Farm Fresh.
They've been trying to score from that point of attack. Pero in that last play, hindi na naka-compress yung defenders ng Farm Fresh. That's why they weren't able to reach that ball.
Louis goes to Des. Calf, the back set to KKD. General, the bump to Ara. It's back with Farm Fresh. Little too tight. That hits the antenna. And with that, Coach Koji has had enough. He'll call for time.
Ah, take a 3 point. Simple, simple, simple. Era. Oh, era.
Eh, di pa tapos yan. Kaya natin.
Aggressive, spike. Leader. Leader. Go, let's go.
You know, we all heard that. Too many errors. And emphasize ni Coach Koji. We hear someone saying hindi pa tapos yan, and that's what Farm Fresh is going to try to do here in the fourth set. But Mika Reyes and company, they have different plans. They're up by 4 points here in the fourth. Calf to serve. Louis, the back set to Ara. Straight to the hands of Savi. Aliyah waiting, popped up, they save it. Chance, PLDT. Calf, the KKD. Tabino, denied. Ara again, still nothing.
Ooh.
Great reflexes there. Oh, it's still in. Royce, a little tight. They're gonna call it outside, but you know what, Neil, we gotta credit also the scrappy plays of these two teams. Keeping the ball alive, there's gonna be a challenge.
Most of the sets have been near the antenna, and Royce Sabino clearly doesn't like it if it's close to the antenna. So you have to give her some space to work with.
Because that happened before the timeout of Coach Koji. We'll see if there was a net fault. Farm Fresh asking for one. Because right now, PLDT, because of that error, that sequence, PLDT now at 20, Farm Fresh at 15.
Asking for a block touch. Galing kay KKD. Oh, a net fault pala. Yes, there was a net fault. Good challenge from Farm Fresh. That will be called on Mika Reyes.
It's a good eye from the coaching staff of Farm Fresh Foxies. They're still here. They're still in it. There's 3 points down. So what do you need to do now if you're Farm Fresh, Neil?
You need to score consecutive points and not give away 3 points. As I say that serve of Tabino sails out.
They were not able to capitalize on that point and that break given to them. It's a 4-point lead for PLDT.
Now that Trisha Tubo is not playing for Farm Fresh, it's going to be up to Ces Molina to score most of the attack points.
Good defense. Back to Ces. And she delivers. That is point number 12 for Molina.
That's their best option right now. Just have to deliver the right sets to Ces Molina.
It's a 3-point lead for PLDT. You want to hold on to it. Here comes Savi. Right on the money for Savi Davidson. 20 points in this ball game.
First ticket to the semifinals.
On the line.
Waiting for the winner of this match. 4 points to tie for Farm Fresh. 4 points to end it for the high-speed hitters.
Farm Fresh has never made it to the semifinals since they joined back in 2023. PLDT, they want to make that statement. They've been dominant all conference long. Does not help the case of Farm Fresh. Straight to the net for Aragalang. It is 22 serving 17. Louis goes to Molina. Calf. Savi asking for it. General finds Ara. They try KKD. Great decision by Calf.
KKD now with 19 points.
Give KKD her flowers at this point. One of her best games of the conference.
She's at 50+ attacking efficiency rate.
Combination. It works for Farm Fresh.
Ces Molina taking charge up front, delivering 3 points the past few sequences for Farm Fresh. Babalik ngayon si Trisha Tubu. They really need her right now. Now is the time for Trisha Tubu to go beast mode in scoring.
And we'll see how things are gonna play out for the Farm Fresh Foxies, because right now PLDT 2 points away from winning this game and entering the semifinals. Calf goes to Savi. Molina. It's back with Farm Fresh. They go to Trisha. Lucky point also for Trisha Tubu. No coverage there. Or no cover for PLDT.
I like what Lorene Turing did. She didn't get a proper approach on that gift, so she just put that ball high enough para makapag-set up sila and they get rewarded by a point. Timeout, PLDT.
Sabi sa pa, good pass ha.
Okay, receive kami ulit. Receive kami. Cover after. Side out. Hey, PLDT!
A bit of breathing room here for the PLDT high-speed hitters. They finished the preliminary round. Number 1, only had 2 losses. They want to make that statement here in the All-Filipino Conference. They want to bring that dominance into the semifinals. But if you're Farm Fresh, you still have a fighting chance here. Savi, great placement from Savi Davidson.
Defense just too slow to react from Farm Fresh.
So it looks like the PLDT high-speed hitters are getting away with this win. And they're entering the semifinals. Farm Fresh at 19, PLDT at match point 24, serving 19. Alcantara serving. Robbins Hardy goes to Molina. Not yet. Success. There is a chance, a slim one.
The loser of this match will go up against the winner of Nextlet and Galleries.
Which is going to be very interesting.
Very difficult also.
So it's not over yet for the loser of this game. But there will be a lot more pressure. Wait a minute.
They're still alive.
It's got to be perfect volleyball for Farm Fresh from here on out.
Block touches lang ang kailangan ng Farm Fresh to be able to transition to offense dahil nasa harapan si Trisha Tubu.
Here comes Davison. Babies that one. Tobino! Good dig! Here comes Savi! Not yet. And take a look at this, Neil. Still alive. I stand corrected. Ito na nga po ang Farm Fresh Foxies. They're down by 2. The cheer is getting louder. There's be a timeout called by Coach Ralph.
Yung normal mo lang.
Go, receive tayo, receive tayo.
Okay. Sorry yung kailangan ha. Hindi putok bola ha. Pasa mo lang kayo isa. Go, go, go.
Dahan-dahan lang. Eh, PLDT.
We got the PLDT high-speed hitters at match point. But what a run from the Farm Fresh Foxies. They're down by just 2 points.
Still serving, Ces Molina.
Ces Molina will serve. Alcantara goes to Savi!
Savi Davidson.
And that's it
Drop ball.
for this match. match, the PLDT high-speed hitters are going to be that first team to enter, Neil, the semifinals. And as for Farm Fresh, they will await the winners of next set versus Galleries. Pure Gold, always panalo play of the set, brought to you by Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold, always panalo.
Farm Fresh will still have a chance to enter if they win their next match.
Well, it's not over yet for the Foxies. We'll wrap things up when we come back.
Coming up next, it's the Creamline Cool Smashers versus the Signal Super Spikers. And the PLDT high-speed hitters are entering the semi-finals. They win this game 3-1 versus the Farm Fresh Foxies. And their very own Sam Corrales is with our player of the game. Go ahead, Sam.
Welcome to the semifinals, the PLDT high-speed hitters. And of course, joining me now is our player of the game. We've got KKD Kiana D with 19 points and an attacking success rate of 50%. Kiana, this is arguably your best game yet, and of course, your team's sixth time to enter the semis. What are you feeling like right now, and what are you most proud of?
It's a great feeling to be back in the semis, and you know, we wouldn't have done it without hard work, and also the game was really hard, so kudos to also to Farm Fresh. We had a good game, so hindi pa tapos yung laban, so hopefully you guys support us the next round.
Of course, we're looking forward to that, but balikan natin yung set number 3 because it looked like the momentum changed for you guys there. I saw you really enjoying the match at set number 3. What clicked for you guys, KKD?
I guess since we were one set each, whoever got the third set, I think yun yung kukuha ng momentum. So, sinabi namin sa sarili namin, we have to get that set because if si Farm ang nakakuha, baka iba na yung results today. So, yun, we just worked together, adjusted, and nakuha namin yung results na gusto namin.
And because of that, you booked the easier ticket to the semis. Is there anybody you want to greet before moving on to the next stage? Your family, friends, and the fans of the high-speed hitters. Go ahead.
Hello to all the PLDT supporters, the PLDT management. Thank you so much for supporting us. To all our fans, please continue supporting us kasi mahaba pa yung laban. So see you guys next in 2 weeks.
There you have it, our player of the game, KKD. Back to you, Billy and Neil.
Thanks so much, Sam, and of course, huge congrats to KKD and the rest of the PLDT high-speed hitters. A great win for them, Neil.
Most of the skill categories were really close, kung hindi man match. Attacking and blocking, nahabol ng PLDT yung numbers ng Farm Fresh. I think that PLDT escaped Farm Fresh in set number 2. They were dominant in set number 3 and they just really didn't want Farm Fresh to recover in the 4th set. Farm Fresh had a lot of unforced errors and yung serving category pa yung nagbigay rin talaga ng